is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start out the show like we usually do with the DAX index. We'll take a look at it on this 15-minute chart. As you can see, we are in that really high-level distribution area from the 8th of May all the way out until yesterday when you had the sell-off. We stopped right at the 786. If you look at that DAX chart very closely, on the right-hand side, you're going to see a very nice three-drive to a bottom pattern. And what that is going to tell you is the importance of this 12,500 level in the DAX, because if we get much below that, this is a failure, and then we're going to start expanding to the downside. Now, yesterday in the market, of course, we were watching the open interest of what's been happening to the NASDAQ and the S&P, and probably the worst thing that could possibly happen for the bulls happened, and that is on the S&P, when the market rallied up on Tuesday, we had a drop of open interest, about 1%. And then as we came into Wednesday, that totally reversed, and the open interest increased by 1%. That is bearish, because as prices go down, there are more sellers coming into the market. So there's been a transition here between buyers and sellers based on what's happening to open interest. Now, of course, this could only be a 1 or 2 day phenomenon, and the market might go up and make new highs. But just from a technical perspective, we ought to pay a very close attention to it. We did have a pretty big drop in the market. As you remember, went down 1.8% in the Dow. The NASDAQ at one time was down 140 points, I believe. So this is a wide-ranging bar to the downside, so that's usually an indication that we're going to go lower. Now, two questions came to me this morning by email, and one is this related to what's happening in Washington? Folks, I have no idea. I don't think so, because this has been going on since since November the 9th, and there's nothing any different that I can see. The market went up with all kinds of negative news. And then it just kept going and going and going, and now it's having a correction. What it means, I'm not sure, but if you'll remember, we had Kevin Murphy from the Hermanometry folks. Well, he is the Hermanometry folks now, with Bill Ehrman being on. But he gave us this chart, if you'll recall. I'll put it up here. And so far, it is, pretty much spot on. Well, by the way, at the break, we're going to have, at the half-hour break, we're going to have our good friend Norm Winski from Astro Trends out of Florida. But as we look at this chart from Kevin Murphy, you can see that this is a big expanding triangle. He's looking at this May area as, very, very important. That brings us to the second question that someone's asked me that is really difficult to answer, but I'll give you my best guess. The question was, how can we forecast what could be the next crash day in the stock market? Folks, we've only had two crashes, really legitimate crashes, one in 1929, and then, of course, we had the one in 1987. Both of those had a similar characteristic, and that was this. After the top was made, in September the 3rd, 1929, the market crashed 55 days later into October 29th. In 1987, we topped on August the 25th. The market crashed 55 days later on October the 19th. So what we would look at is we would look at May the 16th here, and we had 55 days out into the future. That would get us into the middle of July to see if there's going to be, some type of an action like this. But folks, if you're betting on a crash, you're betting on a real outlier event. That's like, winning winning 5 Super Bowls in a row at the same score, something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous to try to do that. But with pattern recognition, you might see some signs. We saw the same signs in October, in October of 1987 that we saw in in early October of 1929. Whether these signs will appear again, we don't know. That basically the sign is the market has a big break, much like we're having now, and then you have the ABCD pullback, i.e. the Gartley pattern, and that will take you to an area of what you're looking at. As far as where we stand in the market now, we've had this tremendous move in the volatility index. That was one of the things that we were watching very, very closely, and I think it's something that we really need to pay pretty close attention to, because we've moved I think 40% and almost 50% in one day. That tells you that there are some people that are taking protection on the other side, and whether that's going to be the case or not, we'll be able to see if that's going on. Folks, on that Kevin Murphy chart, he's looking for timing. It's not so much price related as it's timing related. So when you see those prices out there, don't necessarily think the Dow's going to go to 1,000. Maybe it will, but I don't think that's a prediction that he's making. He's basically looking at time and the technical structure, within the market. That's what he's really trying to focus on. That's just my opinion, of course, but I've been watching this stuff for quite a while, and I know it does have some applicability to the markets, but like everything else, it's only probability related. And that's it. He does have the price, but he won't tell you. He doesn't do price. Basically, what he's looking for is he's looking at time, because the time is related to the geometric patterns, and that's what you're looking for. You have to decide what you think, the prices are as opposed to, what you're looking at. Okay, we had one other question last night, and that was about the sugar market, which I hardly ever trade, but I'm going to bring it up here to let you see, because we've been coming down from 25 down to about 15 in the sugar, and I just wanted to show you what's happened over the last several weeks in sugar. If you notice those little white boxes with a little red trim around them, those are equal moves, folks. They're exactly equal. I mean, they're within 10 cents. That's $100 in a $16,000 contract. But if you'll notice, all of these have been equal, and then today we gapped down sharply, basically confirming that was the fourth of these moves. Now, the important thing about this, if you trade sugar, is you'll notice that we had that 3 drive to a bottom pattern that occurred on May the 8th. We could get another move down, making another 3 drive pattern just below the $15 per pound level, somewhere around the $14.70, $14.50 level, and that would be coming in at the 78% level. That would be something, if you trade sugar, that you might want to be watching. However, I am not a sugar trader. I'm just bringing this to your attention because the question was asked, and I was trying to do, doing the number. By the way, some of our smart people here in the Tiger Den have just told me that 15 calendar days comes in at July the 10th. And we know that's a very, very significant date because it's the day after July 9th and the day before July 11th. 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, let's take a look at the gold market. I think we're getting ready to see a big break here in gold in the next few days, whether it's related to anything that's happening. But if you'll take a look at this gold chart, we hit the exact 61% retracement this morning, folks, at 1265, spot on. That's not what makes me bearish. What makes me bearish is this next, and that is the fact that if you take a look at the silver market, you're going to see a totally different market. You notice here that silver was only able to rally to the 382 retracement yesterday, and it couldn't even make a new high today, whereas we made a new high in gold by $1.50. We did not do that in silver. That from a technical perspective, that is bearish price ever. Should we get at 1266, 1267 level in gold, that would be a very, very strong indication that this is wrong and start moving. But all we did was make a 7-day rally right at the 382 retracement, and that lagging very, very badly, which it's been doing quite. So I would think that it's something to, very, very close attention to. Someone saying Fibonacci. Fibonacci, when it works, when it doesn't work, nobody likes Fibonacci. And that's what makes it so good, because it doesn't work every time. If it worked every time, these smart guys would figure it out. It works on probabilities. Sometimes it doesn't. Let's quick. I think. Higher.
Okay, we're back, folks. The VIX index made a 60% move here in one day. Usually that means that that's something that's going to continue, and the 1.618 expansion on this move would take you up to the 17, 18 level. very, very easily. So, it's just we've broken down so much that it's just really, and we did it so quickly. That is what's so damaging to it, is that, you took it out in just a matter of a little bit. But the main thing that I think is so important is the fact that open interest that we've been watching for 5 or 6 days in the S&P and also in the NASDAQ has reversed the other way. And that's another thing that I think would be, very important for us to look at. So the key things today, of course, I believe are to watch that gold market for a reversal. And then also I would be watching that euro. We got up into that euro area yesterday. We went about 30 pips higher than our projected price. And now we're now heading down below, getting ready to break below the 111 area. And we were looking at that area around 111.35. So this could be another one that could be coming together. If we watch closely, and let's get this dollar index up here to take a look at it. Give me 1 second here so I can find that little puppy. I had it all ready to go. Oh, bada bing, bada boom. What did I do now? Let me think what I did with it. It's here somewhere, boys and girls. Stay with Mr. Rogers, and we'll get it working if I can. What did I do? I put it right on the front page, too. Come on, Larry. Give me a break. All right. We'll have to wait and see until the old fellow can find it. I'm probably not going to find it till after the break. Oh, here's something that I wanted to share with you folks, and that is one really bearish-looking chart. Let me bring this up to show you what I think is just an absolutely incredibly bearish chart, and we will take a look at this. This is the Dow Jones Transportation. I mean, look at this, folks. You have a Gartley that had formed on Tuesday and on Wednesday. It went below, shattered it with one of the worst days down in a very, very long time, and going below the March lows. Oh my goodness, this is really a very bearish chart. The ABCD structure on this Dow Jones Transportation takes it down to the 8,200 level, down another 500 points. I will think. Remember, yesterday's move in the Dow was 337 points. If you multiply that out by 1.618, you're going to see a move of more than 500 points down in the Dow in this down move before it's over. And I'm not even sure, when that is, whether it's July 10th or maybe tomorrow, maybe today, I don't know. But we should get a day where we have a move of 1.618 of the worst day that we've had so far this year, which was yesterday. Now, remember, we have that sell in May, go away theory. Everybody on the TV this past 2 weeks has been talking about that doesn't work anymore. And so what happens on the 15th of May, it starts down, and then we'll see if that's going to be. The problem was it was the NASDAQ that was causing this. That's the main thing. Folks, this July 10th, I mean, that's just going back and looking at counting the days of what happened in 1929 and what happened in 1987. There's nothing else there that describes anything like that. Now, whether that means anything, I don't know, but it happened twice. So, if you don't look at it for the third time, you do so at your own peril. So we were going to be doing that here at TFNN. We're going to be watching that July 10th period, really close, and you'll be able to see this. Sure, you can post anything you want in there, Dan. That's not a problem. That's the reason why we have the Tiger, Dan, is to share information, and especially from you, Mr. Z, because you give us the best of the best. And we'd certainly like to see what's going to be going on. That's correct, and that would be a good place to go long because, these markets are going to have fabulous volatility coming in here, and you want to be able to try to do, both sides if you're able to do it. We also have some selling going on in the grains today, which is not unexpected because we went up. We had to hit some pretty major numbers in beans yesterday at that 580 level. We're now down about 552, but keep an eye on the July beans in here, folks. We're looking at a market that's making an ABCD pattern, right at a 78.6 retracement. The selling this morning is based supposedly that China has canceled a few soybean orders out of Shanghai, but if you start believing that, you might as believe everything else you read in the news these days because those fellows are masters of deception as they do their trading. So keep in mind we're going to have Norm Winski on at the break, and he's going to have some great information, just like he always does. And he's pretty much spot on some of these things. We want to keep watching it. Tomorrow we will have Shane Smolian on at the 9:30 break from wolftrader.net. So all those will be very, very interesting. I guess we're going to be coming up to our break here in just a minute, and we will have Norm Winski on, and we will get back to you right after the break. I think we're at the break. I'm sort of working out of a covered wagon today, so we'll hopefully get this thing straightened out so our technical part will be a little better.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Norm Winski from Astro Trends on the line. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir. Larry, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I'm working out of the covered wagon today, but listen, I wanted to give you a big thank you from everybody in the den. You were talking a big sell alert on Wednesday, and I guess we could call down 372 points a sell, wouldn't you think?
I think so. Thank you very much.
Listen, you're in charge, so tell us what you have for us today. Go right ahead. Your charts are up and ready to go, so just fire away.
All right, we're on page 1, Larry. I thought I would review, I was on your show on the morning of May 3rd. So I had about three or four big windows coming up. Right, we were sitting on one that day, and then a few more. And on the 3rd, and just afternoon, we had Mercury turn direct. Mercury's associated with grains. Some of these had to limit the number of charts to do here because we got limited amount of time. But if you go check, I think, for example, if you use corn as a proxy for the grains, I think there was a high on May 1, and then we went back up at the afternoon of the 3rd. It made a retest of that high, and then that was a pretty good top there, for the grains. And then, but the big window I wanted to talk about that I came on your show for to give people a heads up, and one of my top things for the month was that Venus was going to get to 0 south latitude, and Venus associated with cattle, copper, cotton, sugar, wheat. I have to make a confession here. I know after the show, I noticed I inadvertently omitted copper that was in my letter. That is a Venus market. It's one of the factors is Venus. And so anyway, now we're going to look at those markets, and we'll come back and also talk about that there was a full moon the evening of the 10th, and it was in Scorpio. So that also encompasses, your greens and your precious metals are the standard thing for the full moon. But every now and then, if it lands a particular sign, it brings those markets in too. And let's see. I'll touch on that right now, and then we'll go to the Venus thing here. But just for example, bonds. I know you track bonds closely there, Larry. And the bonds went down on the next morning, and days within 20 minutes of the opening on the day session, made a spike low there. That was the low of the month for the bonds because it was the full moon was in Scorpio, and that was the previous night. So that was pretty good. Okay, so I'm not going to go into those markets, but I want to focus on the Venus thing, and then what's happening today. Got another big window. All these dates were in my presentation when I was on your show on May 3rd, so that people would have had this stuff all in advance. So let's look at some markets now. Here's a chart we're going to look at now. Cattle is the Venus market. When I was on your show, I was ideally hoping that the cattle could continue the rally. It was going parabolic there. Probably was asking too much for the market to continue to go up because it was getting to the point where it was almost vertical when I was on your show there on the 3rd. And I was hoping it could continue rallying into Monday the 8th. Monday the 8th. But then we had a sell-off there. I think on the top was on the 4th. And then we sold down, and then we went back up for the night of the 8th. And notice that my abbreviations here are PM is afternoon, AC is after the close. So after the close of the 8th, that's when the big Venus thing was happening that night. And so we rallied on the 8th and made a retest high right there on the 8th. And that was turned out to be a pretty good trade, and maybe not as great as if we caught the exact top, but still not too bad. You had an opportunity there to make some good money. Moving on ahead here on page 2, here's cotton, also a Venus market. And let's go back and look at there on the morning of the 9th, just after the Venus event, that overnight. You had a little trading top there, not big money, but a little blip there. And then we went down to there's the full moon there, that second red arrow, overnight of the 10th. And that was near that low right there. And then we bottomed there later that day, and then it was rocket time for the cotton. You see that? Moving on ahead here. Here's sugar, another Venus market. You were just talking about sugar a little while ago. Are you talking there, Larry? Or is that just noise?
You're doing just great. Keep going.
All right. Sugar. Here's sugar, and you were just talking about sugar a little while ago. And there we go. Here's the here's the 9th. Venus was doing its thing there overnight between the 10th. That's the full moon. Sorry about that. There's the full moon. And no, there's the 9th. That's the morning of the 9th. Sugar made a little retest of the lows right there on the morning of the 9th. And then we rallied up to the full moon window. And that was pretty good. And now we're looking ahead here. Here's your wheat. Wheat is also partially connected to, associated with Venus. And there's a Mercury thing there. Remember I told you Mercury went direct on May 3rd, and there's just like the corn, it rallied back up for a retest of the highs right there on the 3rd. There's almost exact time that Mercury went direct at 12:30. That is the time Mercury went direct on the 3rd, was at 12:30. That was, I don't think that's off more than a fraction of a penny there, at worst case. And then we went down, 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 and then now we're into the Venus window here on the early morning of the 9th, right on the day session opening. And then there's your full moon there a little early. You went just a little bit higher, a penny or two higher over the next day or so. And so that, I think you could have made some money on that. By the way, if you, generally speaking, I always tell the folks, if you don't want to use your brains, trade the grains. All you got to do is track the full moon and the new moon most of the time, and it works pretty well. There's some other factors that jump in there every now and then. That's why they should contact me and learn some of the other things too. Here's your S&P. The stock market is the big basket of everything. So anything important that's happening out there in the sky, it could affect the stock market. Here's the May 3rd. You had a little, right there at the midday, you had a little pullback low there for the stock market. Then we rallied up to the morning of the 9th, just after the Venus event overnight. And there's that was a high until just a few days ago for the S&P. That was the high of the month for the Dow Jones, which did not make a new high this past week. And then we went. Then we also had a little retest of that high for the full moon the night of the 10th. And then the next morning we made a very nice low there on the morning of the 11th. With the full moon overnight. Then we rallied back up and just had this high here. Now, you mentioned earlier the NASDAQ. I track the NASDAQ composite. You might remember in my nightly updates there, Larry, I was talking about the possibility that the NASDAQ could get to the magic number of 6180, which would be, the Fibonacci vibration. That'd be 618. It'd be 618 times 10,000. Just again said the digits, the decimal doesn't matter. You can just move the decimal place. It's the digits that matter, the vibration of the numbers. So we got on what was that, Tuesday night? We topped out at 6170. So it was $10 short. Anyway, so and then we didn't. There we go. So there's your stock market, and now we're moving on ahead to page 4. Copper is also a Venus market, also connected to Uranus, which we'll be talking about here in a minute. Oh, now we're into, we got a commercial time.
So we've got a commercial. We'll be right back. I have a question when we come back, Norm.
Okay.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest live programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 9 hours a day starting at 8 a.m. as John Logan kicks us off each trading day with the Global Market Pulse. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Mondays and Fridays, catch live trading on the Nadex platform with host Tom and Tommy O'Brien, along with Daryl Martin on the Bull Bear Binary Option Hour. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, back, folks, with Norm Winski of AstroTrends, and we have a question, in fact, 2 questions, the same question, and that is, you have a lot of different planets and a lot of different dates when you give your newsletter, and, many of them are spot on. But the question that both of the listeners are asking, Norm, is how do you handle this? Do you use a spreadsheet that you watch for certain days? And then the second question is, how do you determine the price levels that you want to be looking at when these dates could occur?
Those are both great questions, Larry. I'm going to try to answer them right now. So in my letter, I have a timetable calendar that tells you where the big energy is for each of these markets. And when you do my free class, you get the free letter, and you get to learn how to do that. And it's very simple. I summarize this all on 2 pages for all 30 markets, and you can easily, in a matter of seconds, look at any market you want and see where the big turns are likely to come. Just for example, one that I didn't talk about, you were talking about, I think, cotton just a little while ago that made a top. Was that today or yesterday? And made a top on the 15th. I had the 15th as one of my top dates for cotton. Now, here's that. What's that again?
You sure did.
Yes, sir. So one of the principles that I wanted to talk about, it's funny you asked that question. It relates to something, general information I wanted to share with the folks, is that I'm not making these decisions on what market to look at and when to look at them. The system does that with the planet, based on what planet is doing what and when. So, that way, that takes away my subjective decision making, which is a very good thing. If, like most people, if I were making these decisions, it probably would not be good. Okay. And what was the second question? I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot. What was the second question?
That answered them both at the same time, but we have another question coming in, and one of our listeners was wondering, do you have an idea of what's going to happen in the next 7 days, up or down, in the stock market?
Stock market? I'm going to talk about that in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. That's why I asked to come on today, because today is one of my big dates. Remember, back here, we have a big thing here. Let's talk about that right now. What's happening tonight? So today is after close 518. Saturn is 120 degrees to Uranus. This is doesn't happen very often. This is a 46-year cycle. The last time this particular exact configuration occurred was Saturn at 120 degrees of Uranus, was back during the due to geocentric motion, the motion of the Earth to the other planets. You get into an area with a long-term cycle like that, and it whipsaws back and forth. It's 2 steps ahead, 1 step back, and so it whipsaws back and forth for a while. Could be a year or so on something long-term like that. And so the last time we had that was back during the Nixon administration. It's funny, they've been talking about Nixon, comparing Trump to Nixon here, and that was back during 72, 73 when the market was topping out before the biggest bear market since the 30s. And so we're now on the second hit of this series for the current series, and that's so that's huge here, and that's tonight. Now, it does not have a good track record of particularly nailing major turns in the market to the day. It's more of a general, it tends to be more of a general influence, but it's still very, very important. Saturn is coffee, Uranus is copper. So let's go look at those charts now that I have here, and also the stock market, because the stock market is the big basket of everything. So we just had the big sell-off here on the stock market. I'm looking for a possible low here in the next day or two. If it doesn't hold by about Friday, then this was probably the top for the 18th, top today early, and then we're probably going to continue down. So we're coming to a big fork in the road here, whether this thing, the possibility is earlier in the month, it was definitely inverted, following my inverted track. And so then we would be making a low rather than based on traditional astrological rules. 120 angle is usually a high. But this could be upside down in the short run here. Let's go look at the copper now. Copper is Uranus, and there we have the let's see. Oh yeah, here it's also Venus and Uranus. So there you saw the copper made its low of the month, at least up till today. Back on the morning of the 8th, our Venus event was that night. Next morning, it pulled back a little bit, retested the high, and then copper was up. There on the Venus event, there's your coffee coming up here for the future event tonight. And coffee just had a rally yesterday, but it looks like it was pulling back on the close. And so we have to see where these markets are going to be here in the next day or two. And they could be making some significant turns here. The way to pick the way to find good trades doing this is wait for that time that you get to close to that time, and if that market is at an extreme, either overbought, oversold near the high of the range, low of the range, then it's probably going to reverse and go the other way. Any questions, Larry?
No, you're doing really good so far. I think the analysis is pretty much spot on, and we certainly appreciate it. One of the questions that we've just been asked is, what do you use for your data source for all of these astrological aspects that you're using?
Most of it comes off of an astrological program. It's called Matrix. No, not Matrix. It's that was the company, but now they've been bought out. It's the old WinStar, right? WinStar 2.1, I think, is what it's called. Yep.
Those are the people out of Michigan, weren't they? Blue
Right.
Star and that kind of stuff. Sure, I remember that going back in the 80s.
They sold out to the folks in Gainesville.
Okay,
As Earl of Wine. Earl of Wine retired.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So anyway, so let's talk about how we can get the free goodies. And just for anybody who's new and doesn't know me, I've been doing this quite a while. I started studying the stock market when I was 15. I'm 66 now, right out of college. I had an opportunity to buy a seat real cheap on the new exchange, Chicago Board Options Exchange, and so off to Chicago I went. From Terre Haute, I went to school in Terre Haute, Larrystown, and then off to Chicago I went, bought the seat, and then became a market maker on the CBOE. Also traded on the Chicago Board of Trade because the CBOE was housed in the Board of Trade building. It was a child of the Board of Trade. And so I traded on both those exchanges, and then I started expanding my horizons and started studying these other markets. So anyway, I got a little bit of experience doing this. I followed these planetary things. I had learned the astrology in college, and so that's why I went there. I thought I had an advantage and traded on the floor doing that. So here's the deal. You can get a free class. I'm going to give you a virtual college education for traders. I don't just talk about astro. I teach you all about astro, advanced Fibonacci, fractals, which is pretty interesting. It's a simple way to study a market and extrapolate out a long-term forecast. And you get all that and the current letter. I've already got people, May is done in terms of the class. It's getting too late for May because this is kind of a 1 to 2. The class is like 5 hours for the actual class, but then we go back and forth. Once you learn the techniques, you go and practice, and then we get back to follow up. And so it's like a 2-week process. So already got people signing up now for June, so you need to call me right away. The line is forming for June, and all you got to do is contact me, and you get the letter and the free class. And here's my contact info. So I'm here in beautiful Florida, sunny Florida, in Naples, Florida, 239-594-3939. That's 239-594-3939. There's my email. Winski at embarkmail.com, or you can Skype me at norm.winski. We'll be coming back, Larry?
That's it, Norm. Thanks a lot, my friend. We'll have you on soon, and we really appreciate your work. And that is a money-back guarantee, right, Norm?
If you mention Larry, you get double your money.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we are taking a look at the market here. We certainly have what we would define as a dead cat bounce in the S&P 500. The NASDAQ, of course, is much stronger due to the buyout, I guess, or whatever they're doing at Apple. But this bounce in the S&P is rather meager early this morning. If we get back above that 85 level, 2385 level in the S&P, then I would think maybe there's a major bottom in here today. But right now, it certainly is in the hands of the bulls to see if they can do that. We'll watch it closely. I'm following the open interest each day. If we get some more information on open interest in this futures for these stock indices, we'll certainly let you know. And we want to watch it, very, very closely as it's, very important. By the way, I believe yesterday was the 225th anniversary of the New York Stock Exchange under the buttonwood tree there at the streets of Wall and Broad there in New York City. So it's been a long time. So we'll keep going, hopefully, and we'll see what's going on. So many people ask me about the politics about this, folks, and honest to goodness, I really don't know anything about it. That's the main thing to look at. By the way, on May the 24th, we have Zizergy. which is where the Earth comes as close to the moon as it gets. We want to watch that very, very closely. That's known as a super full moon, I believe. It'll be a super new moon, and so we want to watch that one very, very closely. Norm alerted that to me during the break, and I wanted to let you know that we have a new moon at perigee, and that's very, very heavily influencing earthquakes at that time. So you want to be long earthquake. All right, back to the medication. Anyway, we want to watch these markets closely because we've got increased volatility. That volatility index has raised its head. It's told us that something big is coming, and if it hasn't come after a 370-point drop in the stock market, I guess it never will. So we'll watch it real closely over these next 2 days. Tomorrow, we will have Shane Smolian on, wolftrader.net, and he also has great information. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.